Yeah, buddy, what is up? Welcome to Duct Tape Dynasty. I am the Duct Tape Dude.
I'm the dude.
And man, we have got a special edition Catcast for you tonight. Or I guess today. Today, how about that? It's not night yet. It's a night game. It's coming up. Whatever. This is supposed to be Catcast number like 5, 6, 7, 8. It's number 2. We're a pretty high-speed show around here, so hey, at least we got out here twice. We can do it twice. Anyway, whatever. You get it. But it's a special edition show, not just because this is an important game, not just because the season that we're having, but because we have some special guests coming on with us today. And you know what? I don't even want to keep them waiting. So let's just go ahead. Let's bring them all on. We got a whole bunch of dudes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the dudes from the Pawd cast, or Pawd. I guess it's the Pawd. What's up, boys? How are we?
Hey, we're doing good. It's the Pawd podcast.
There we go.
You know? There we go.
See, like I said, man, I'm so.
Here we are. You know.
Oh man, and now I see. This is how professional we are. Now I can see on the screen that I have a graphic blocking your face. So I'm going to have to correct that while we're getting started here. Like I said,
our best feature, Josh, so you're good.
Like I said, very, very high-speed program here. But yes, these are the boys from the Pawd podcast, and of course our Ag Man. They have an Ag Man as well. Andrew, right up there. Andrew, why don't you say hi? Give us an intro to these guys while I fix the dang screens, and we'll get started. So
no problem.
Yeah, jeez.
No problem. So this is my first show back in a month or something like that too. So this is kind of fun for me to be back. But yes, we have the Pawd gentlemen on with us. Welcome, guys. I know I found you guys through Instagram, and then I started listening to your show. Huge fan. Sent it to Josh saying you need to check these guys out, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna send him a message, see what happens, and now we're here. So it's pretty awesome. So welcome, guys. Thank you for coming on our show. This is awesome.
So why don't you tell us who these guys are, though? Ben and Eric, right? Sorry,
yep.
I wanted to call you anyway. Jesus, guys, I'm still trying to do this over
Jerry,
here.
didn't you?
I'm trying. I'm scrambling right now. But yeah, these boys have got. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourselves, guys. You guys are, one of you is a Montana State grad, correct? And one of you is a Montana State super fan. And anyway, you guys started a podcast however long ago, and let the folks know a little bit about what you guys do. Let's hear what you guys do. Are you a weekly show? Are you when you can get around to it? Let us know what you guys got going on out there with Pawd.
Yeah, basically we try to record twice a week. That doesn't always happen, but most of the time we do we call it the Pick'em Pod midweek. And we pick all the Big Sky matchups and occasionally some Missouri Valley, even though it really pains me to ever talk about North Dakota State, but we do it for the listeners. And then we try to record right after every Bobcat game, which can be a little tricky when they don't start till 8:15 p.m. sometimes. But yeah, we basically run in 2 episodes a week and try to stick to that as close as possible.
Yeah, this is our second season of the show, and it's been awesome this year. Seeing everybody reach out, like just you guys reaching out and having us on your show was huge for us. We were like, we're getting hit up by another show to do this. It started off pretty rocky. We have one unreleased episode that was our first episode of all time that was just recorded on an iPad with no microphones or anything.
Yes.
And it got 23 listens, and now we're up to like getting 1,000 a week and stuff, and it's been like going really well. And so we were super excited to get on with you guys, and super excited for the end of this season because the Cats are the ones that are doing it for us.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
like
dude.
Nobody would want to listen to us unless the Cats were playing this way. So we live and die. The podcast lives and dies on how the Cats play every week. So
exactly,
we appreciate them more than anything.
And it is, man. This is an awesome season that we've got going on now. I'm a 2002 Montana State grad, so not to give myself away as far as, I mean, the beard kind of did it already, but anyway, I'm an old guy. So when I went to school there, the Cats were just abysmal. I mean, it was it was, when did you graduate? Yeah, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
went in I graduated in 2016. I had a little bit of a spell. I transferred over to Iowa State for a while, and then came back to graduate from Montana State. But I got to be in the D. McGee days.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
those were glorious.
The cardiac cats.
The cardiac cats.
Cardiac cats. Yeah.
And
The
Andrew,
Cats were gonna score 62 points a game, but they were gonna give up 61.
yeah.
Yep. Eastern
Jeez.
Washington at home. I remember 55-50.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah. So,
go ahead. I'm sorry, fellas.
oh, no worries. I was just gonna say, I'm really glad that we don't have to deal with that anymore. Those insanely high scores, that literal cardiac cats. It was so stressful. And if you've ever listened to the show, I'm a big fan of stress-free wins.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like that last one we had,
Aren't we
right?
all?
49-7 or
for
something
sure.
like that. So, yeah,
yeah.
you know, when I live in Oklahoma now, I joined the military out of school because I didn't get good enough grades to do anything. So anyway, the military moved me around, and now I'm in Oklahoma. And so I adopted one of the Oklahoma teams because you don't get a lot of Montana State coverage out here, aside
No,
from
not
what
at
you
all.
find on your iPad, you know. And so I, of course, did not go for the University of Oklahoma. I went for Oklahoma State University. And,
Even worse.
Yeah.
We got the Iowa State guy here now. He's gonna have plenty of smoke for you.
Yeah. Well, it's just as horrible with them. You know, it's like they're
Yeah.
talking about cardiac cats. Well, what they do is they get a lead of anything. I mean, they could be up by 2. It could
Yep.
be up by a freaking safety, and they go into prevent defense. And it's like, what are you doing? You give them 20 yards every play. What are we doing? Anyway, that's kind of those days. Andrew, you were more in the glory days, though, right? When did you graduate?
Yeah, so
you're a new guy.
I'm the new guy by far. I graduated May of 2023, so this is my second year out of college now. I got to see the tail end of the Anderson days and the rise of Tommy Millott, and have been riding that ever since. So I was there for college game day at 2 in the morning
Oh,
in
yeah.
the pit. It was
Yeah.
so cold. There was ice on my beard, but man, it was fun.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
so worth it. So worth it.
That was my senior year, so it's like that's one way to end it too.
Yeah, that is a good way to
So-
go out. Of course, they didn't take care of it that year, but whatever. Hopefully,
Well, that
they'll
year
do
the
that.
Cats did.
They,
As far as the Cat Grizz game.
you
but-
sure? Last time they were in
Cat
Bozeman,
Grizz
I
had-
thought we blew it. Or was
Oh,
that?
no,
No,
we-
that was
we
last
killed
year.
them.
That was
We
last
killed
year
them
we
in
blew
Bozeman.
it. That was last year we
Yeah.
blew it. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But we still haven't forgiven Pat McAfee for picking against the Cats.
God,
Oh,
I
not
know,
that
man.
day.
It's
No,
like, what
on
are you
College Game
doing?
Day, everybody else picked Montana State, and Pat McAfee, who we both love. We love. Pat
As do
McAfee.
we.
I watch him all the time, and I was like, you couldn't just pick Montana State. You had to be the heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
had to
he
turn
just
heel for
hyped up
this
the
game.
whole team.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that's the McAfee way, though. You know. But no,
He
man,
does
that's
that all the time.
that's us too. We're
Yeah.
McAfee, big time McAfee lovers. And you hear a lot of McAfee references on our show. What? Right? We do that. And all that good stuff. So awesome, man. Well, wow, you guys are, man, 1,000 views. We would love to have 1,000 views on anything. We get like our high views is like
It's like
40.
30, 40.
30 to 40. So
We're
yeah.
also splitting that between like 5 different platforms.
Oh, okay,
So-
fair enough. But still, I mean, it all
Yeah.
counts. It all counts. So
Yeah.
anyway, now what do you guys? One more question for you, then we'll get into the show. What do you guys do? What's your backgrounds? I know we've got an ag man, so I assume there's some agricultural something or not. What do we
Yeah.
do?
I married into a family that has a registered Hereford operation up here in Valier, and so we are all at the ranch, and we raise registered line 1 horned Herefords, and we have a bull sale every March, and yeah, that's kind of my job, is just raising bulls.
All
Shout
right,
out to Holden Herefords.
Yeah, shout out to Holden Herefords.
Yeah.
all right, rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I'm an IT guy now. I
Oh.
used to teach in a prison, and then I just moved to. I've had some wild jobs over the years. I was a teacher in a prison for 7 years, and then like 4 months ago, I got married and I moved to Great Falls, and now I kind of work ag adjacent because I do IT for Torgerson's equipment sales.
Okay.
So they do a lot of the sales through Montana. We got a couple locations in Wyoming and stuff like that. So it's been really good. And I like working with ag people because obviously my best friend's an ag dude. Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet.
Yeah.
And Andrew's I mean, I don't know how much you guys talked at a time. He's a teacher. I wanted to say an instructor because that's what we call him in the military, but he's a teacher of the ag.
I'm an ag teacher, so.
Oh, FFA, let's go.
Yeah. In fact,
I
you just
grew
got
up in FFA.
you just got back from National Convention, didn't you? Like a couple weeks ago?
That was a couple weeks ago, and it took that long to recover from that trip. So that's why I was off our show for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's finally back.
Yeah.
Finally back. And I work for the federal government, so heck with it. Whatever.
There you go.
Yeah. So let's.
Good work if you can get it.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it for now. Shoot. So yes, let's get into our show, shall we? A lot to talk about, a lot going on. Like we said, the Cats are in the middle of a historic season, of which we will reveal why to those who don't already know. Many who might watch already probably know, but anyway, let's start off with our last game: Sac State, Montana State, 49-7. One of the absolute. That's one of your games that you like to watch, right?
Oh yeah. And Ben and I were both at this game, and this was so much more than just a butt kicking. They absolutely demoralized Sac State. It was a thing of beauty what the Cats came in, and they did nothing tricky. It was just run the ball, and there was absolutely no answer to it. And if you do this to a D1, a team that was in the playoffs the last 3 or 4 years, it is awfully impressive just how bad they beat these guys into the dirt. I mean, it would be really hard to come back from this.
Yeah, I mean, you 7x their score. That will demoralize you. And the fact is, with Montana State, dude, it is, the run's coming. That's what's coming.
Yeah.
They can't stop it. It's what's the next play going to be? A run. Anyway, so Andrew, what do you think about the game, this last one? You enjoy that watch, 49-7?
Oh, I did. I wish I could have made it back because it was Ag Appreciation Game, so I wish I could have made it back for that too. I made it back for Homecoming, Gold Rush, and then the one where we played Mercyhurst, the pickup game is what I like to call it because that was just demoralizing too. But I made it back for those. Hopefully going to make it at least to the western half of the state for the big one next week. But yeah, I wish I could have made it, but it was awesome just watching that.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but you guys have any big plans for next week? Some game going on out there?
Yeah, some game.
Yeah, we're both going to be there. We're both going down. My in-laws have a skybox on the side, so we'll be. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, you guys were freezing your butts off at Cat Grizz. I was nice and toasty warm in the ball.
It was worth it, though. It was worth it.
That's good stuff.
At Gold Rush, I was down in the stands and he was up in the box, and I was kind of like a lone ranger out there roving the stadium. And I remember I actually went to the beer gardens and I was waiting in line for a beer, and I saw Andrew, and it was like right after he had hit me up. And I was like, I gotta go find that guy. And I got my beer and I was walking around, and it was like all muddy and everything in there. And I was like,
it was terrible,
dude, right now. It was so bad. But what were we even talking about?
We're talking about our next game coming up. Then what happened last time. But yeah.
Oh yeah. So this week we call it our Brawl of the Fans podcast. And so we like to bring on a couple of Grizz fans. We might just have one this year, and we like to discuss the game kind of mano-a-mano with them when it comes to this Cat Grizz. So we'll have that one coming up. We're going to try and do that on Wednesday, maybe Thursday if schedules don't line up. But we're definitely excited about that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. A lot of our family, so Andrew and I are actually family, believe it or not, by marriage. And a lot of our really, we're the only two Bobcats from the family.
Yeah,
the rest of
you
them.
said about
the
for all
other
the
one.
fans. We have our Grizz contingent fan in the comments right now. It is my other uncle.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
It is Dave, and he's living like a true Grizz fan does in the past all the time.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't mentioned 2001, but that might be his next comment.
Yeah.
Or who
Probably.
made the championship most recent, which we're both even. We both went and lost to a Dakota team, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in there trying to poke the bear, so to speak.
He's trying to troll.
Um,
But it's not
I've
working.
got a similar situation. My dad is one of 12 in his family, and he is the lone Bobcat out of those 12. So everybody, and they're like season ticket holders for the Grizz and everything.
Yeah.
They're nice enough to like follow us, but it's only to root for the downfall. I know that.
Oh,
Yeah, just to watch the pain that is all too
Oh,
often, associated with the Bobcats. Anyway, but yeah, that last game. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, and actually, and I was gonna, like I said, make an announcement about this later, but I'm gonna do it now, and that is that next week I'm coming out. I'm coming out to Bozeman next week. I'm packing. In fact, when we're done here.
Oh,
I'm packing all this stuff up, my soundboard and all that stuff, and we're gonna go mobile. I got an Airbnb out there.
Yeah.
Andrew's coming out. I have a kid. That's how old I am. That's going to Montana State now. So that's the official reason that I'm going there. Is to go visit my kid. But we have 3 podcasts lined up for it, 2 to 3. We'll see what happens. So.
And just before the show too, on the road for the Catcast, that's going to happen on the Friday before Cat Grizz. Right before we started our show, I just received confirmation potentially that we could have a very special guest on our Catcast in Bozeman. Do I want to reveal who it is right now?
You can't just do that and then not say.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
can't do
Like,
that.
I want to know who this is.
There's a potential chance, and it's leaning positive, that we are going to have Jody Owens on the show with us for our show next week.
Well, that
Let's
would be
go.
okay.
That is a great get. That is a great get.
Bobcat alum and current Bobcat coach.
That would be amazing. So he'll probably be busy, but so you're saying there's a chance. That's all that matters. So, but 49-7 last week took us to a historical state, right? Andrew, tell us what that did for us.
10-0 for the first time in program history.
10 and nada. Dude, when we did our first Catcast show, and I watched one of your guys' show where you did predictions for the season, I think. You guys were all, to include Andrew, were in the positive. A lot more positive than I was. You could tell that I am burned or have been scarred by the Cats because I think I was like 8-4. That's the best we're going to do. 8-4, and it's like I plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's kind of how I do it. So the fact that we're 10-0 right now is unfreaking real. What do you boys think about that? 10-0. You excited? We nervous? Does it make you more nervous? What's the feel with 10-0? Or do we not talk about it?
So at 10-0, I kind of expected, just looking at the schedule and knowing that this was the year that they built this team for this year. It's been good teams in the past. Last year was a great team. But this is when all your guys are seniors. Your dudes are all seniors. They're all ready to go. There really isn't a reason with what we've seen and the ability to the next man up attitude that they have that they can't run this table. The teams that they're playing are inferior to a certain extent. And injuries haven't derailed us yet. So why there really is no reason why they should derail us. I just don't feel that the competition is tough enough. And if you watch any of these other podcasts, especially getting up into like the big FCS ones like FCS Nation or Hack City or any of those big ones, those guys are all on the Cats. They all can see just what this team is made of, how deep it is, how deep the coaching staff is. Every single one of them is picking the Cats this weekend.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
And like you said, like we were super high on this team, super biased at the beginning of the season. We're like making predictions that it's going to be an undefeated team. And the entire time we are like in the back of our heads that same mentality that you were talking about. Like, we've gotten burned before, but with the talent that was at every position on this roster and every position room, it just felt like this was the team to be able to do something special like this. And honestly, we will talk about 10-0, but if you talk about the team, they're always 1-0.
Yeah.
They don't care about any of the wins. And like, a lot of teams talk about 1-0 like it's just a gimmick, or like it's kind of like one of those platitudes that coaches do. But with this team, it seems like it's legit. We're wanting to go 1-0 every week. They're going to every week 0-0.
Yeah. And so far,
and on top of that, we had Ty McCullough and Coach Marcus Monaco on the show, and they both talked about what losing last year was like, and they were both very adamant that cannot happen again. They knew they were the better team, and they were both extremely adamant that doesn't happen again.
Outstanding. I like it. I like it. I like it. So good. In fact, with that, let's use that as a transition, talking about players, coaches, whatnot. Let's get into where we're at as far as stats. You know, we were going to keep up with stats and kind of show the progression throughout the season. Like I said, this is supposed to be Catcast number 5 or 6 by now. It's number 2. So let's, Andrew, shall we check in and see how our guys are doing stats-wise? You want to run us through these? We'll start off with Tommy Malott. I'm going to let you run these. And, because I feel like I talk too much already. So, all right. So we'll start with Tommy. Give us a rundown, and then we'll talk about it from there. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we got touchdown Tommy cementing his legacy as one of the greatest Bobcats of all time still. This year he is so far, based on all the stats I found last night, and if I have any errors, please correct me, guys. 124 for 179, 19 touchdowns through the air, 1 interception on the year. Just over 1,600 yards passing with a 70% completion on the season so far. He is lighting it up. If we were to do our NFL show, we would call him on a roll, because that's what he would be right now. And he's doing it on the ground, too. 59 carries, 586 yards, and 10 scores on top of that. Tommy's just a Swiss Army knife in its purest form.
And he's on the Walter Payton watch list?
Yeah, I think he's still a Walter Payton Award watch list. I haven't heard any updates on that. But
anything to the contrary of that? Is he still a finalist, or at least on the watch list?
He's on the watch list, and one of the stats that will never be listed is that Tommy has very rarely played a full game this year. He's put up these kind of numbers, and he's only played 2 fourth quarters all year long.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that insane?
Yep. What games were those? It was the
New Mexico and Eastern Washington.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, New Mexico, he won it for us. But
Eastern. As far as that race goes, it's really, I feel like, a 2-man race this time with Tommy and Cam Miller out of North Dakota State. Like, those two have been the front runners all season for that Walter Payton Award, and it's going to come right down to the end. Like, these last few weeks and how these two quarterbacks perform is probably going to decide that award.
Well, let's hope he puts on a show tonight, because we're going to need it. This is going to be definitely the toughest test I think we've had this season. And not to keep foreshadowing, but we'll look at where we are in the standings, reference UC Davis, et cetera, later on. But let's move on to a running back, an actual running back, not just a running quarterback. How about Scottree Humphrey? Huh? Let's talk about him, Andrew. What do we got? He has
blown things out of the water this year. Last year he was electric. This year he's just unstoppable. 158 carries, 1,191 yards. The first Bobcat running back to do that since Isaiah Fonse 2 years ago, I think, before he transferred to Cal. And Scottree has 13 touchdowns on his name, too. He's been scoring every single week, at least once every week. And then last week versus Sac State, 12 carries, 129 yards, so nearly 11 yards a carry, and he had a score, too. So he has been lighting it up. And with a fairly, I'll say, fluid backfield, too. We have several running backs that you can just plug and play, and Scottree has been doing amazing even with that.
There's definitely runs by committee. I mean, anybody out there, it feels like, is a run threat with Montana State. And if it, put it, I don't even know how to say this, but bottom line, number 2 in the FCS as far as rushing. Number 2 as far as rushing attacks. So, yeah, these boys know how to get done on the ground. Now, who did you guys say you had on your show not too long ago?
Ty McCullough,
Ty
receiver.
McCullough. Okay,
Yeah.
he's one of the ones that we'll talk about a little bit later. I knew that there was one on our list. I just couldn't remember who it was. So, anything you guys got to say about old Scotchery back there in the backfield and what he's done so far this season?
Scottre, he got an organic nickname from us during the North Dakota State game last year that didn't end so great, but during overtime, Scottre came in, and I think he only played in like 3 or 4 games last year. He was an incoming freshman and stuff, so it was like he wasn't going to get a ton of playing time, but he just ran the ball first play of overtime right into the end zone. I stood up and yelled, "One play Scottre," and it just stuck.
Oh, yeah, that's
So I was like,
it rolls
one
right
play,
off.
Scottre. That's all he needs. All he needs is one play, and he can get into the end zone. You just give him one chance. And this year, they've given him a lot more chances. Put up 1,000 yards super fast. Like with I think 4 games left in the regular season, he already had 1,000 yards. So he is.
Oh. Are you losing him? Oh, no. Kind of lost him. Did you lose him? I lost him. I lost their feed.
Frozen.
I lost their feed. Oh, no. Hopefully it comes back. Well, we'll try to cover as we go. But, yeah, old Scottre. I like that, man. That's awesome. Old one-play Scottre. I like that.
That's a great nickname because it's true. I mean,
13.
there were times I was at games where it was, give it to Scottre Humphrey, he's going to score right now. And they did, and he just ran like 70 yards.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, man. So we lost these guys. Doggone it. This show, man, we are so professional.
Oh,
man. Hey, there we go.
I got him.
We got him. All
We're
right.
back. Okay.
We see you guys. Hello. So, amazingly, we already moved on. How about Adam Jones, Andrew? Let's talk about Adam Jones.
This guy has come out of nowhere, in my opinion, because I think I don't know if he's a true freshman or a redshirt freshman this year, but this year, 89 carries, 697 yards, 7 scores, rushing. Receiving, he has 12 receptions, 116 yards, and a score there, too. Last week versus Sac State, 5 carries, 159 yards, and a score. Adam Jones, I did not know who this guy was coming into this season, and he has very much impressed just all year, because it's like, wow, this guy is keeping up, and he's cooking people left and right, and nobody knew him last year on the team. At least I didn't know him anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I said, being out here, I don't know a lot of the guys on the team. I got to kind of rely on you, Andrew, to keep me up to speed because you're entrenched, but so what do you guys think, especially on that last game? 5 carries, 159 yards and a tutty. That's like that's an NFL stat line right there. That looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Jones last game, nobody could touch him, and that's the beauty of this backfield. Scottre was having himself a game, but they still had Adam Jones there to change things up a little bit because they are 2 somewhat different style of runners. I don't know if you guys remember the New Mexico game, but that would have been Adam Jones's coming out party. That 97-yard touchdown run down the sidelines.
So cool.
I was there for that. There were several thousand Cat fans at New Mexico, and we were all going ballistic. And he's never stopped unless he had missed that one game when he was hurt. Mm-hmm. And other than that, this kid is. We have a running back tandem that are both freshmen. Or Adam Jones is a freshman, Scottre is a sophomore. So we have these guys for multiple years after this.
Yeah,
the future's bright.
And we still have Julius Davis. And we still have Julius Davis.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. And then Adam Jones, like last year, he did come out of nowhere this year, and nobody expected him to have the season that he's been having. But he played a few games last year so he could keep his red shirt. And his first carry ever as a Montana State Bobcat, he went 49 yards, I think it was, for a touchdown.
Yep.
49 yards for a touchdown, first play ever in the game, first play ever for the team. And it was like, we don't know what this guy's going to be like when he starts getting a volume of carries.
Yeah.
Because he just showed that skill right away, right off the bat. And he's from Missoula. We love to get a guy from Missoula.
Yes.
It is the
Cody
best.
Kirk
When
all
we
over
take
again,
an
except he was-
amazing running back from Missoula, that's the best.
Yes.
Cody Kirk from Frenchtown. It's just putting it all the salt in the wound.
Rylan Ort. Rylan Hort went to the same
Rylan.
high school.
Love
That's
it.
right.
Love it. Yeah. So, man, you know what as I thought, okay, so we're primarily, or we have been at least so far in our YouTube journey, a NFL show. You know, we're trying to branch out, as we said, Catcast kind of things. One of the big things that happened in the NFL landscape in the offseason that was like, oh my God, these guys are going to be unstoppable, is when Derrick Henry joined old Lamar Jackson on the Baltimore Ravens. And it was like,
Oh yeah.
well, how are you going to stop that? You know, because if Henry doesn't run, then Lamar runs. And if Lamar doesn't run, then Henry runs. And it's like, that's what Montana State is. It's like, okay, take away this guy, then that guy will run. Take away that guy, and then this guy will run. And it's like, it's awesome. It's a good problem to have, boys. Good problem to have. And I hope they put on a show tonight, man. We need it. Tonight. This is the big game. Although next week's game is always the biggest. But anyway, let's move on to old Ty, shall we? Andrew, take it.
Ty McCullough, and I want to go, after I say stats, go straight to you guys, Ben and Eric, because you guys have had him on your show.
Yeah.
So Ty McCullough this year, 23 catches, 322 yards, about 14 yards of reception and 3 touchdowns. So it seems like a little bit of a down year, in my opinion, for Ty, but he's still doing great numbers, and he's still a threat. Last week versus Sac State, I would say, is definitely a down game for him as well, with only 1 catch for 32 yards. But he's still a very dangerous option if they somehow can stop our running game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So Ty last week did have a jet sweep he took for 60-some yards for a touchdown. I think 65 yards.
Oh yeah.
So he is he's still a factor in the rushing game. They do like to run jet sweeps with Ty. I think the thing about Ty that makes him more valuable than other than Tommy, that makes him one of the most valuable players on the team, is he has completely taken over the leadership roles. You know, there's lots of leaders on that team, but he is a very prominent one. And he told us a little bit about his speech he gave at New Mexico when the Cats were, they were getting kind of handled at halftime. And he went in that locker room. He didn't give us a lot of specifics, but he pretty much woke that team back up. He gave a real passionate speech in the locker room. And I mean, it may be receiving wise a down year, but in the same facet, he hasn't had the opportunities. They're running the ball constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Also, Ty McCullough has a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown all in the same season.
That's
I don't think there's many players in the country that have that. He slung that ball out to Taco, and he proved some things with that. We were lucky enough to get him on the show because he's co-editors on a magazine with my sister. So.
Oh, nice.
we had a little connection. My little sister was bugging him for like a year. Like, when are you going to go on the show? When are you going to go on the show? And then finally he was like, okay, I will go on this show with your brother.
Dude, Andrew, I tell you what, man, these guys have been talking about skyboxes. They're talking about players coming up. I'm really glad you found these guys. You guys got any room in that sky? Anyway, no. But yeah.
I don't even get a spot in the skybox, so there's not room.
Dude, I don't even have a ticket to the game. I'm going to a sports bar, so I'll be at Specs or something watching it.
Hey, let's hang out at Specs together. That's where I'm going for the game.
All right, I'll see you there, dude.
I don't know if I'm getting a ticket, so I'll be there too.
We'll shoot phone numbers back and forth after this, and I'll be there. Looking for a good time. Anyway, all right, let's move on to Brody Grebe, I always screw it up. Number 41, our legacy number. There we go.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
he is our legacy number.
I want to say something else other than legacy, but anyway, all right, go. Andrew, take it.
Yep, he's our legacy number. And before I go on his stats, I'm just going to make the comment. I've said it several times, but the fact that Vegan made the decision to have the 41 Montana patch for all the Montana seniors this year, genius decision. Genius decision.
Oh, yeah.
Because it'd be a little weird watching Tommy wear 41 throwing touchdowns, but man, it would be entertaining. And fun fact for the 41, Troy Anderson was going to wear it, and then the COVID year happened. So he was selected, but never was officially a wearer of 41, which I've always found kind of cool. Yeah. But Brody this year, I think he's kind of been banged up the last couple games, but still, he's had 24 tackles, 13 solo, 6 of those were sacks, 1 forced fumble. Beginning of the season, he was the conference preseason defensive MVP. Stats perform preseason All-American. Buck Buchanan Award finalist, which we haven't had one of those since Brad Daly and Caleb Schreibeis did it, and team captain.
Jeez.
So, I mean, Brody's just lighting it up, and he is the Montana State Ag Man because he's from Melstone. If you don't know where that is, it's okay. Not very many people do.
Yeah.
But
you literally blink as you drive through, and you're gone. Like,
that's a lot of places in Montana are like that. But you know, before we jump to these guys, reference Brody, I do want to reference the patch, the 41 patch, and this is a McAfee thing. We talked about it earlier. I'm a huge believer, proponent, whatever you want to call it. It's more about Jimmys and Joes than X's and O's. You guys know that's a McAfeeism. And so I think things like that, like putting that 41 patch on the jerseys for all the seniors, just little things like that can bring cohesion to a locker room. Although it sounds stupid, it's just a patch, right? But it's just another thing, you know, to bring you guys together. And it appears that whatever they're doing is working because, like we said, best season they've had so far. What do you boys think about old Brody? Sorry.
Well, so Brody is maybe one of the most special athletes I've seen. He started the year off with his ankle was bum at New Mexico, and he played the entire game. He hurt his ankle back in spring ball, and I really don't think – I mean, he's still tearing it up. He gets held on every play. And
yes, he does.
I still don't think we've seen a fully healthy Brody, which is why he took the week off last week. He just had a nagging quad issue, and it's Sac State, so they're the biggest frauds in the Big Sky Conference. So he had the opportunity to take the week off, get healthy, and I think we're going to see an unleashed arrested, unleashed Brody Grebe tonight, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I hope
Brody's always been very special, like from a young age. I've known the Grebe family for a long time. I was in the same high school division as Melstone when I was going to school, and he would play games against my brother and stuff like that. So he's always been very special on the basketball court, playing football and everything. And just seeing him do what he's done for the Cats, when he started out, you never know if like a 6-man guy is going to be able to make that leap to Division I football, and he did it in spades and is one of the best players in the country. So it's beautiful to see that, and awesome to see how his brother's playing as well. On the same team, stepping up into a role as a young guy where we have injuries that we have to make up for. Both those Grebe dudes, they are legit, and they are through and through Montanans. Melstone, great town. Been there many times. They have a great basketball tournament there, and always love seeing those dudes when I'm around there.
Yeah, a fun little sidebar about Montana State players. It seems like the really good Montana State players, they like to beat up on Ben in whatever sport it is before they go to Montana State. Because you guys remember Trayton Pickering.
Oh, yeah.
He single-handedly destroyed all of Ben's basketball teams for years.
Yeah, and he dunked on my little cousin one time so hard that I've never let him forget about it. But it was nice to see him dunk on people in like Division I football. You know, made me feel a little bit better about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, the only guy I ever got to play football against that anybody would know their name is Ryan Leaf. I got to play football against him. Not a Montana State guy by any means, but definitely he was out there in the Northwest. So
probably the most famous Montana football player of all time.
Yes,
probably
for all the wrong reasons. So,
but his podcast series called Bust is very good. If anybody hasn't listened to it, he goes through his entire journey, warts and all, and it is good. And he goes through his whole recovery period and everything. It changed my mind about Ryan Leaf.
Okay. I might have to check that one out. You know,
it's very good.
I've had some interesting experiences with him, personally and on the football field. So
I'm sure that would change the podcast, like change the listening of the podcast. I'm somebody who was born after everything was going on, so I don't have any of that perspective. Didn't know him personally, but changed it for me at least.
So many great stories. He walked out on. He showed up at the R Bar one day when we were all there, and he proceeded to rack up a great tab. You know, he's buying for everybody, and then he walked out.
Oh,
He walked
Come
out.
on, Ryan.
Yeah, he walked out, dude. It was pretty epic. So that was.
He should take some of that radio money he's making with Rich Eisen and pay off that tab.
Yeah, well, yeah. Jeez. So, anyway, all right. So that's our kind of highlight of the players. Let's just get into our conference, where the conference sits right now. We'll kind of breeze through this, and then let's talk about the game to be, and we'll call it a day. So, around the Big Sky Conference rankings right now, we've been preaching on it. 10-0, Montana State, right where they belong, right on top of the Big Sky Conference. And we've been saying that tonight's game is the granddaddy, not necessarily the granddaddy, but as far as this season, this is the most significant game we've had because it's against that number 2 team right there, UC Davis at 9-1. So no slouch there. Idaho at 3, and then the Godless Animals at 4. Northern Arizona at 5. You got Idaho State at 6. And I'm just going to keep breezing through these.
They finally tipped up into the top half. Idaho State did after winning last week, which you guys predicted. I know I've listened to that episode. You guys predicted Idaho State to win. They finally tipped into the top half.
Yeah. And then you got old Eastern Washington, followed by Weber State, Portland State. Then there's old Sac State, who we put a hurting on, Cal Poly, and Northern Colorado. So that's how it rounds out. Yeah.
Poor Bears. Poor Bears.
Yeah, they're Bears. 1-9. Well, at least they got to win. You know, you can't say you got skunked. So,
shout out to Weber State for letting them win that game.
Yeah, somebody had to be the sacrificial lamb. So, and that brings us to tonight's game at what? Well, I say 7 o'clock because I'm at Central Time. It's 6 o'clock Mountain. Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about it. Here it is, the game tonight. What are we expecting to see? Andrew, why don't you lead us and ask these guys how they believe this is going to go? Or give us your thoughts on the game, and then you get it. Move on.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight. I don't think this is going to be as – I mean, I say this, and I had this same thought against the Idaho game, saying that this is not going to be a blowout win. And then we went and proceeded to mop the floor with Idaho. But I think this is definitely going to be one of the toughest matchups we have all year because, as Ben and Eric, you guys have said, and everyone has said, we are everyone's Super Bowl this year because we have the undefeated record and because we're number 2 in the nation. They're coming in ready, looking for us to fall, and so is the entire internet behind them.
Oh yeah.
But no, I think it'll be a close game. I think it might be, I don't know, the score that's been in my head has been 35-21. But I don't know about their defense. I don't know as much about UC Davis as you guys probably do. So I'll throw it to you guys first and let me know what I might be missing.
By all means, gentlemen.
This is the Big Sky Conference Championship game. The winner of this is the outright winner. There is no way to split this. This is for the marbles for the Big Sky Conference. Both of these teams are going to get an auto bid, win or lose. It doesn't matter. I think the separation is far enough now between them and Idaho and the Grizzlies that they will get an auto bid to the playoffs, win or lose. UC Davis kind of runs this team behind some stellar play from Miles Hastings at quarterback, and maybe, and I say this, I don't enjoy saying this, with Lan Larison as being maybe the best running back we've seen in a while come through the Big Sky Conference. With those two, if you can control those two, they don't have a lot to stop the Cats. This game is going to be won in the trenches. I mean, that's a fact. It's whose offensive line can bully the defensive line better.
Fair assessment. Ben, what do we got?
UC Davis is a solid team on both sides of the ball. I think they are the most complete team that the Cats have played. The Idaho game was big for us. Their defense is very good, but their offense was really banged up. UC Davis has the amazing offensive weapons that Eric brought up, and their defense is solid. I wouldn't call them a great defense. I would call them a very much good, above-average defense, maybe, pushing into that area. One of the things people have to remember is the Bobcats used to be the Aggies. So UC Davis already stole our name. You know, they're trying to they're pretenders just because they're the Aggies now. We used to be the Aggies, now we're the Bobcats, and I don't think that the defense is going to be able to hold up to the run. And I think if they try and stack up the box, one of these pass catchers that we have is going to be able to make a play, whether it's Ty McCullough, whether it's Rohan Jones.
Right.
I mean, Ryan King and
Taco
and Lanyata Jr. and Taco. Like, there are so many weapons on this team that you have to worry about. You cannot cover 6 guys on every single play. So I just don't see the offense having much of a problem with it. The defense is banged up, but they're still solid as ever. And I think they can hold UC Davis, Land Larison, and Miles Hastings in check enough to win this game by, I love a 2-score win, but I'm calling this more in that 7-10 range where I've seen the line at. You know?
Yeah, I agree. The other thing about UC Davis is this is the game. The Cats will finally be able to shut up all the haters that claim we have not played anybody. Everybody like to throw this out there that the Cats are frauds because they don't play anybody. You can't fight the schedule makers, but this is the one. And believe me, they hear that narrative. They want this bad. Well,
I hope they get her done. You know, they should be ready. They know they're 10-0, just like we know they're 10-0. They know what that means. They know the season they've been having. They know what's on the line. They know what's left in front of them. And I think they're going to come out hungry. I just hope it's entertaining. Entertaining for me can also be one of those lopsided wins, as long as it's the Cats winning. Close game, okay, whatever, I'll take it. But either way, as long as the Cats come out on top, and it's more entertaining than that Jake Paul fight that was last night, then I'll be happy.
That was horrible.
Absolutely abysmal, man. What was that
so
garbage?
Sad. Oh my God. I just felt so bad for Mike Tyson, and I was like, why are you out here?
I know.
You can barely move around.
Could you even see it, though?
Much for Iron Mike to have it. I could.
When it worked,
you know? Yeah, mine didn't crash so much up in Great Falls. You know, we have better internet there than Lear. I don't know how it was going over here. But,
I had issues early, but was good all through the Tyson fight. But I feel like the Tyson fight probably meant more to you than any of us 3 younger guys. Because did you ever get to actually watch him fight?
Yeah, you know, actually, here's my Tyson story. So once upon a time, I went to school, a place called Montana State University. And around 2002, Mike Tyson was fighting against Evander Holyfield. And as a poor college kid, I said, you know what, that fight, I'm going to pay for the pay-per-view. And so I scrounged up all my ramen money, and I freaking paid for that fight, and Tyson bit his ear off. And I was like, what the hell is going on? You got to be kidding me. I was so mad, man. I was so mad. This poor college kid. I was like, I could have had so much ramen. But anyway, it is what it is.
Either way, you saw a historic fight.
Yeah.
You know? You saw a piece of history that's going to be talked about in boxing history forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, it was what it was. But sorry, not to get us too far off base, but let me take us through where these 2 teams that we're playing are, as far as, I should have done this ahead of time, but yeah, last year the Cats did finish 3rd in the Big Sky Conference, finished 9th in the FCS, and like I said, I should have had this ahead of time. 10-0, we've said that about 1,000 times. Currently first in the Big Sky, 2 overall, and then UC Davis again. I had these slides out of order. So overall record, it shows them in 2023 7-4. And they're 9-1 and number 4. Okay, there we go. So, sorry, I just had to catch up on that kind of stuff. So, game predictions. Let's go. I know we just kind of went through the game and what we expect, whatever. But what do we think? Andrew gave us a score. What was your score, Andrew? 35-21?
35-21 is the one that's just been ringing in my head. I would not be shocked if it's 35-28. Seeing the 7.5 point spread for betting, all of that stuff, it's very real. It's not like 28.5 or whatever it was against Sac State last week. This one's actually like a legit, realistic football number with a knockdown, drag-out game.
You guys confident enough to give a potential score or maybe a win by a certain amount, or do we avoid that kind of stuff for all sorts of other reasons?
Oh, we get into it. We love betting.
Okay, let's do it.
If you want to talk about some bets, we can talk about some bets.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Josh.
Who's winning? Who's winning? Well, I know who's winning.
If you go through both of these teams, what they've done this year, there are a multitude of common opponents for both these teams. Montana State has absolutely buried everybody aside from Eastern Washington, but we did pull away with a 14-point win, which is the most points by any team, including UC Davis, who could only manage a 10-point win. UC Davis lost to Portland State. It doesn't show in the score in the record book, but they got gifted that game. What did we do to Portland State? We absolutely smoked them. Yep. I love Andrew's prediction of 35-21, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Cats win by more.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm a little bit more conservative on this one because the way I see this game going is that Montana State is going to try and control the time of possession. Like, they're going to control the clock, try and keep that UC Davis offense off the field as much as possible. To me, this seems like the smart move, and this year Brett Vegan has always went with the smart move. Has always been, what is the best way for us to win this game? It might not be the flashiest way, but it's the best way for us to win this game. And I feel like the score is going to be around 28-21. I think UC Davis scores the same amount of points, but we slow the game down. We keep the UC Davis offense off the field, and Montana State scores enough to win either way.
Okay. Either way, I like either one of those. I tend to be the pessimist, as I started the show off saying, but I don't want to be. So I'm just going to stick with Andrew's score. Let's go 35-21. I'm just going to be, confident this time around and hope it works out the best. So.
They hurt you in the past. They just hurt you in the past. This is new. This is
not them. Yeah. This is the new team. So. Anyway, it should be a good time, should be a good watch. We all definitely will be watching it. And shoot, boys, that's what I've got for our show. The only other announcement I have is one I've already made, which is next week. I'll be out there in Bozeman. Maybe we'll see you guys. Andrew, I know we'll see you. Yeah. But shoot, anything else we need to talk about, reference the Cats or football or anything before we get the heck out of here?
I got one thing.
Yes, please. Please.
You keep an eye on that Portland State Grizzly game. Portland State is frisky. The only team all year to control them was the Cats. Just keep an eye on it.
Okay. And that's,
I guess we got a little bit point spread.
We got a little bit of time left, but it's coming. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 17.5 point spread. I'm not saying Portland State beats the Grizzlies. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they cover that spread.
Okay. I like that. Anything else you guys want to throw out there before we...
No, I think we're good. Thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah,
this has
absolutely.
been awesome. We really like talking to you guys.
This was fun.
It's been a great time.
Yeah, this was great.
Fun.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you for going out and finding these guys. Gentlemen, thank you for finding the time to hang out with us, spending the time with us. Hopefully we didn't scare you away. Maybe we could talk again some other time in the future.
Absolutely.
In the future.
Absolutely.
But, this has been an absolute blast. And with that, Andrew, last call before I put some music on and get us the heck out of here.
I have multiple comments that'll take us for another 2 hours, but I don't want to bring them into the light of day because it's trauma I don't want to relive as both a Bobcat and a Vikings fan. So there's similar threads that would scare me. So I'm not going to mention that.
Well, fair enough. We'll leave well enough alone then, and we'll just let's go enjoy some football. Let's go have a day, gents. Again, thank you guys so much, and go Cats go. Let's get her done this week.
Cats.
Let's get her done next week, and just let's take it all the way to the house. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it done. So awesome.
Let's go.
All right. Go Cats go. Well, wait. There we go. Sorry.
There we go.
Anyway, like I said, professional show. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. You guys are the best. We will see you later. Until next time.